What did a teacher do when she decided your disability was fake? I lost my left leg below the knee at 11, a year after a drunk driver ran a red light and pinned me against a guardrail. By sophomore year, I'd stopped explaining it. The socket, the liner, the way I swapped running blades for everyday feet. It was just my life. Every teacher got a copy of my accommodation plan in September, and most of them never thought about it again. Coach Whitman was not most teachers. She ran our PE department like a boot camp and had a pet theory that half the school's medical notes were participation excuses written by soft parents. From the first week, she singled me out. When I used the modified fitness track instead of the timed mile, she'd announce my split times anyway, loud like she was catching me in a lie. When I sat out the rope climb, she'd mutter about kids who rent a disability when it's convenient. I brought her my prosthetist's letter twice. She told me paper doesn't sweat. Here's the part she didn't know. After the second time she humiliated me in front of the class, I stopped arguing and started building a file. I emailed her politely, in writing, asking her to confirm she'd received my accommodation plan and to tell me which activities she wanted modified. She wrote back one line: "Everyone runs in my class. No exceptions for excuses." I printed it. I forwarded it to my counselor and my mom. I wasn't angry anymore. I was patient. Every spring, the district runs a fitness assessment day. A coordinator comes out from the district office with clipboards. A school board member usually tags along, and the booster club films the whole thing for the school's highlight reel. The same dad with the big tripod who shoots every pep rally. I knew Whitman would want an audience. So the night before, I emailed my counselor, the principal, and the district coordinator one more time, stating plainly that I expected to use my modified assessment and that I documented a pattern of being singled out. I hit send and went to bed. Assessment day. Whitman lined us up by the track. The coordinator stood near the fence with her clipboard. The board member, Mrs. Calloway, sat up in the bleachers. The booster dad's camera was already rolling on its tripod. That little red light steady. When my turn came, I walked to the modified station like my plan allowed. Whitman blew her whistle and crossed the field. "Not today," she said, loud enough for the visitors to hear. "Today, everybody runs, and we settle this little act of yours once and for all." I told her calmly that my accommodation was on file, and the coordinator had a copy. She smiled. "Then you won't mind me checking." She crouched and grabbed my running blade with both hands. I told her to stop. She didn't. She wrenched it sideways, trying to pop the whole thing off like a costume piece, and the socket twisted hard against my residual limb. The pain shot straight up my spine. I went down onto the track, gravel tearing into my palms, and she kept pulling, grunting, certain the leg was about to come away in her hands and prove her right in front of everyone. It didn't come off. What came off was the cosmetic cover, and underneath was a carbon socket bolted to what was unmistakably the scarred end of my leg. Whitman stared at it, still gripping the cover, and made her last mistake. She turned to the coordinator and said proudly, "See? If it was real, it wouldn't have moved. I just exposed a faker." Mrs. Calloway was already on her feet. The coordinator had dropped her clipboard and was walking fast toward me. And the booster dad, the one Whitman forgot was even there, had swung his tripod around and caught every second of it. The grab, me hitting the track, my voice telling her to stop, and Whitman's little victory speech delivered over a kid bleeding on the gravel. She was pulled off the floor before I was even back on my feet. The coordinator suspended her where she stood. By the end of the day, the principal had the booster's footage. My counselor had the file I'd been quietly building for months, and someone had printed the email, "No exceptions for excuses," and laid it on the principal's desk right beside the rest. It wasn't a he said she said anymore. It was documented, filmed, and witnessed by 2 district officials at once. She was fired within the week. The state opened a review of her teaching license, my parents filed assault charges, and the district settled a civil claim that covered the cracked socket and then some. The last time I saw Coach Whitman, she was loading a cardboard box into her car in the staff lot, alone, while I walked past her to the track on the leg she swore wasn't real.